to the video. Where's my recording? So we should be recording now.
Well, you could just do audio.
Yeah, stop recording.
Mm.
You know, you want the screen.
Right.
So we'll record the screen now.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah, so this is...
I comb my hair.
Yeah, no, there's no video.
No,
Just we could do that if you want.
except there may be.
But yeah.
No, there could be. Someone could be hacking your video.
They are. So I go to this little thing. I download empty because it's an empty, and I save it. And in my case, I'm going to save it to a particular place, to participants, and we're going to call you Carol. Just Carol, right? Because it's sort of public.
Okay.
Just Carol.
Right.
I mean, it is public,
Okay.
and we'll call this one Playing Around.
That's innuendo.
Okay, and then so I downloaded it, and it's actually on my hard drive, even though I saved it in a particular folder.
Right.
But I saved it in a folder that automatically syncs to the web.
And where is
a
it
whole
saved? What cloud?
GitHub. And then I open it, and here's Playing Around, the one I just created. I don't care.
That's my point. You don't even care.
I don't care.
Okay.
So now it's going to say, yeah, I want to leave the page because I don't want to be there. Okay. And yeah, you want to save this? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to save it. This is the equivalent of that piece of music you just showed.
Okay.
This is what you start with.
Right.
There's nothing here, except there's the software.
Right.
So if I want to...
The software is the instrument.
Exactly. There's the key, the piano, right? Exactly. That's interesting. The software is the instrument. So let's call this Carol's Playing... I just trim a little bit so I can type. Playing Around. And I've been developing this little habit of work. And I put the subtitle in there. And someday I'll write a piece of software to do this automatically. And then it puts the link to the web version of this wiki there. Okay, so then and it's done, and I'll save it, this red button, save it. Okay, so now it's saved. So that's a wiki that's saved. And I can click the link, and it opens a new window. So
That's empty. Right.
Because I haven't synced to the servers, but you can just ignore that. Okay, so then we're done, and we can create a new tiddler.
Which is within?
We're still in the same file. Okay. Carol, we usually call it hello. Hello, Carol.
I love that you still use a keyboard, are able to. You know, they're doing apps now for kids that are just sharing video.
Yeah,
they won't even be able to swipe with their phones.
Okay, so this is your first tiddler. You can write in, do you know what camel case is? The camel case.
Just two keys?
So, 2 humps, it's camel. It's a initial, and the first word of the first letter of the word is capitalized, and then there's another capital somewhere in the word, 2 humps for a camel. And camel case words. And so this is a WYSIWYG version of what you get.
Are you aware of that's how the Romans wrote? There were no separations between words.
Okay. Clicking on this, now what do you think is going to happen when you click on this?
It separates it.
You actually go to the tiddler that matches that word, even though that tiddler doesn't exist yet. So it's like, so as
create it.
You have the potential to create it.
Okay.
It doesn't exist.
Right.
So as you're writing,
do you write everything that way, or is it just?
You don't have to. As you write, you can create links to, I don't want to write it. You can create links to, and I can put it in square brackets.
Okay. Future
ideas to dwell on, and close it.
Double square brackets.
Double square brackets, yeah.
Wiki.
Yeah, that's called markup or markdown.
Okay.
Or future ideas to dwell on. So those are 2 different tiddlers because they're written in different ways.
Okay.
And you can do lots more than that as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can tag this to learning. We'll put a capital L accounts. Everything's
This is
case
like
sensitive.
accounting.
It's so you don't have to do it this, but it's actually as a creating tool, as an authoring tool. You've worked on authoring tools before.
Yeah.
And this is a very interesting authoring tool because it allows you to do some fairly powerful things pretty quickly. So let's see, camel case words. Let's work on that.
Have you read about how writing by hand versus keyboarding changes the way your brain works?
Yes. And I think that writing with links embedded in the initial code, that what I just did, that trick of camel case words, I don't have to, I can create in my mind, I've now created a concept to a future thought that I can go back in and add later.
Right.
Now we could do that with print. Fine, like, star it or whatever, and you go back and do it later. But how did we ever do it with Word and build in? So
well, you're just coding in real time.
You're coding, yes, and the coding is part of the
as you write it. Yeah.
It's
like conceptual.
It's very, I think it's kind of 21st century writing.
It is.
I'm kind of convinced it's 21st century writing.
It is.
So we created this concept of a tiddler in the future, and then I just added the tag learning, and I'll give it some text. And what else did we create? Hello, Carol. Oh, we created this. And let's add a tag to that. Oh, we only have one tag. We'll call it learning. Yeah, we'll save that tiddler. And is it out there on the web? No. Because as an author, I haven't published it yet.
Right.
And we can do this two different ways where you publish it automatically.
So when you click on these, you go back to the document that they're tagged in.
To the tiddler. Right? You go, this is the tiddler called Camel Case Words. This is the tiddler called Future Ideas to Dwell on. This is the one called Hello, Carol.
And where's Hello, Carol is where they're located initially. Well, I mean, it's where they were created.
Well, that's where they're referenced.
Right.
That's not that they're.
I'm just trying to see what the hierarchy is.
There's the hierarchy.
There's no hierarchy.
There's no hierarchy. But learning, interestingly, if you click on learning, learning as a tiddler doesn't exist yet, but these are the three things that are tagged to learning.
In each of them, or just the Hello, Carol?
Well, Hello, Carol's tagged to learning.
Down here, there's nothing in it because
of course there is.
Subset. Oh, they're all always there.
Because these are tags and they reference the whole document in real time as we change it. Right. So let's go visit learning. There's nothing there, it doesn't exist, but let's see if we can...
Even though those three tags are in it.
Yes, so you can have a tag that doesn't exist as a tiddler, you can bring it. So let's list the links to the... let's list the links to...
You think they would open up automatically, wouldn't you?
Tag learn.
Why didn't they open up automatically, Steve?
Why didn't they open up automatically?
No.
Tell me. What do you mean?
No, I mean, because when you hit learning, under each of these, you see...
So what do you want me to do?
So when you come down here to learning as a... Right? Why didn't it list them as it did here?
Because this is a tag. This is a tag.
I've even forgotten what you call these links.
Tiddlers.
Tiddlers, right.
Everything's a tiddler. Why
when
doesn't learning have this list of tiddlers that are linked to it?
Yes.
Because you might not want that. So you have to build that.
I'd rather delete it than not have it there. If it appears, I mean, I'm just, this is superficial.
Not at all.
I'm seeing learning, and each time I click on it, I get these, but then, now this is not a tiddler. This is like, what do you call this here?
This is a tiddler. Everything's a tiddler.
Okay.
I'm gonna delete it so it doesn't exist. Delete the tiddler called learning. Yeah. Okay. So now we'll go back.
No. Well, the point is that when you click learning on each of these, then when you opened learning as a tiddler, it didn't contain what these learning tiddlers contain. That seems like
it does. It points to it. Right. So what do I know about learning? Learning doesn't exist.
Right. But it does exist.
It
in these
is
in each of those
listed.
tiddlers.
Is it listed? Is it list? Is it tagging? Oh, learning is tagging three things. Mm-hmm. Even though it does exist, so it's tagging. We know it's tagging these. Right. These are just expressed.
So that is
here.
the hierarchy. So if you create a new tiddler,
I create
as
a new
opposed
tiddler.
to a tag to,
they're the same. They're the same. But let's create a new tiddler, and what do you want to call it?
Well, no, call it learning again. I mean, this is what's I don't
It's all
understand.
called learning.
Right. So, you have a new tiddler called learning. And even though it's identical, now what that name learning, that's...
Now it's going to take me to the tiddler I just created called learning. And let me close that because that doesn't...
Okay. So each of these, are these orange, like in here, are those tiddlers where it says learning?
Those are tag pills. And
they're tag pills.
They're tags, and the way you get them to be expressed.
And you said everything was a tiddler.
Tag learning.
Right. So if this is a language, how often has it had to be updated? Like you said, you have to update.
TiddlyWiki 5.
So if something's written in TiddlyWiki 4, what happens if it's not updated?
Right. It's constantly updated.
But it's manually updated.
No. Major revisions are sort of rare. TiddlyWiki, there's been basically 2 versions. I don't know why he calls it TiddlyWiki 5. It's really TiddlyWiki 2.
See, what I fear is like I have
this
media downtown that nobody has equipment for.
Yeah, this is right.
It's like, the old Apple big
this is
discs
HTML.
and stuff?
It's HTML5. It's, you can't get more basic and fundamental than that.
Right.
It's HTML5, JavaScript, and
but I'm thinking
CSS.
Of people not being able to read it. Like if 10 years went by and it wasn't updated.
I guess so.
No, I mean, that seems absurd to you, but...
Totally. Because you... because you, like, that thinking means you don't do anything. It means you write it on stone.
Right. Hey.
Go for it. But you can't do stone hypertextually.
I don't know.
You can
Maybe you want to. At least put something basic on it so that...
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
so
I'm interested in tomorrow, not 1,000
Judson
years.
Rosebush. He wrote the first graphics language in Fortran at Syracuse University. Okay, and I went to him when I bought a new animation system, and I said, Judson, what should I? He said, Carol, in 1,000 years, this will all be just a layer of magnesium oxide dust. So I passed the step, and here's what I did. After that, I did this. Ah!
Okay.
That was my answer to his magnesium oxide comment.
Takes a little while for these to propagate. And then I have to clear my cache.
So, your students, you're talking about graduate students, right? I would think, I don't know what your idea is, but I would think, someone who actually was into music would be the appropriate person to delve into this because they would have a creative idea about it. And of course, if they're into hip hop or something, I don't know.
But somebody who's into jazz, especially.
Ideally,
of course, because then they'd have passion for the content, and I have passion for the structure of the information, and the content is inspiring. But it's not. But I would. So I imagine my phone opening up. I mean, there's many different ways to go, but one way to go is I imagine opening up my Paul Bley app and navigating, again, through the 1,500 songs that we put out in the first version of the Paul Bley app that are in these albums, 1,500, 15 albums, right? 1,500 cuts. And just hitting play. And it will just play it sequentially by time. So, sorted by all the solos. Just give me all the solos. It'll play all the solos in a row. Give me all the solos with Paul, whomever was tagged, and that were played before 66. So you kind of filter down, and then you say, oh yeah, I've got 12 cuts, play. So I spin my own album, and I can do that by all the tags. So I can navigate around, assemble the 1,500 objects in my own sort of way, and play music that I like.
So now,
That's one concept. And the student could take that, could create that as a prototype that wouldn't be released publicly, but you need the music.
Okay.
And then that whole thing is a bundle that but because it's a project, it's open source, but the content doesn't necessarily.
Okay, but not from the artist's point of view.
Yes.
So I remember Paul sitting for decades with reel-to-reel tape recorders. You'd go to a studio and you do the session, and often records were released as, you know, in the sequence the music was recorded. In fact, he could just do the whole record in 2 hours, as opposed to rock bands that are in the studio for a week and keep having all these false starts. So, but he would take, you know, if he was sequencing pieces, he put a lot of time into the sequence. And now you're talking about somebody coming in there and juxtaposing all these, anybody coming in and taking all these whatever but that's, in a sense, that is messing with what he wanted to be.
Yeah, exactly. Completely. Because it's improvisationally interpreting his stuff.
Okay, so we were contacted by this young hip-hop guy.
Isn't that what he did all his life, with messing with the way that stuff's supposed to be?
It's true.
That's like the whole point.
It's true.
That was the.
He said, "This is not a piano. You just play it."
It's like, so why would?
Well, you'll have to go into a lot of pirate sites to do this, because the music isn't just, all this music isn't just, you can't just link to it and play it. You can link to it and buy it. You can link to it and get 30-second clips of it. You might be able to, you know, go on Spotify and get some kind of a playlist.
Do you have any music?
Yeah, but I can't legally do that. I'd be sued.
But do you have any music that you have the rights to?
Yes.
You can do that.
Yeah, but that's nothing in this.
It's a start. It's like, how many songs? How many albums? Because you don't want to break apart the albums, do you?
No, I mean, you have to forgive me. I have to think about this.
No, I know.
Because what I would like.
Okay, we could also just take this to have links to the places you can buy music, and you skip the whole part.
Well, no, but it's not just one thing.
No, I know.
Other.
Yeah.
So, for example, I just found this. If you just go to Paul Bley discography online, and somebody else has a discography up, and it's nowhere near.
Okay, so let me show you this.
And you'll just see.
Show you this concept.
It's just data. Okay, but for example,
save this. This is my syllabus for COM 106.
Oh, you don't have to leave it.
No, I want to close all these windows. I'll show. I could actually just do a whole new window. File, new window. Come on. There we go. And I have to get Carol into this.
You're expecting me to go in here and play with this?
Absolutely
Do you see
Absolutely
what I'm
not.
dealing with here?
Yes, I do. No. This is not.
I'm still working with tapes, and now my 3/4-inch tape recorder downtown. I'm apparently going to have to clean the head.
Okay, here's the one that we created, right? Okay, so then we're going to go to a new tab, and we're going to do Paul Bley.
Okay, so there are a number of places where it's. Well, this is the first one I clicked on. You know, they've got discographies all over the place. So you'll just see, it's a different one. Oh, you're putting them in your document.
Well, that's your improvart.com.
Yeah. Well, that's just a reference to Hanks. It's not his discography. These are discographies.
Yeah. So in my scrapbook, showed in my sidebar. And we will scrapbook, save all tabs. Let's close this because we don't want to resave this. So scrapbook, save all tabs.
There's some kind of
into a new folder.
There's some kind of malware, something that's affecting iPhones right now.
Folder.
That's another reason not to have a mainstream phone. Everybody attacks it. And I don't find the Mac.
You're like conspiracy theorists oriented. Right?
You know what? What is your birthday?
Oh,
see,
no.
I know. My birthday is the day of unusual interests. This book is written by a jazz musician in Amsterdam. Bruce Elfers. And Paul's in it. That's why we have it as an example. What's your birthday?
March 29th.
Oh, that's my father's birthday. March 29th. I should know what that is.
Okay, so I just saved a bunch of these into my little scrapbook because I like to
The
have.
Day of the Observer.
There you go.
Oh my God, Steve.
That's amazing,
You're
right?
in here.
So this, interesting. Okay, so yeah, so we could,
So this is a very skeletal.
yeah.
This is a very, this is not everything, but it's the stuff on major labels, right? So this has every recording, plus it has private collection recordings, broadcasts. I mean,
Cool. So this pretty much is the same thing, but with very little this is all Paul Bley, right? So this is table of contents. These are the musicians. Are these people that he collaborated with or no?
Well, not
No.
This
okay.
is just all.
This is all the ones that they
discographies.
have.
Exactly.
Okay, yes, I got it. Paul Bley catalog or album index. Okay, so we'll look at his catalog, and
yeah. So these are you can interface it with. So what happens if you bring in
save page?
If you bring in someone else's online discography, do they know? They don't know, do they?
And the reason I don't care is because I'm a scholar, and I can do everything in the classroom under fair use.
Right.
So I'll make copies of all that online stuff, and we'll do it. Because I'm a classroom, I can treat everything as fair use.
So what? So this is my. So
whether we're collaborating with you, that's interesting. Okay, so
I'm going to Europe in October of 2017, showing video, right? Conservatories and stuff. So I was thinking this whole idea of doing a documentary, if it's just shown in educational institutions or whatever. I mean, so I have this video of musicians backstage. I have, performing with Paul. I need to find out what is fair use for putting, instead of the whole performance, of putting an excerpt.
Are you going on the road? Are you going to do talks and stuff?
I'm going to do screenings.
Stuff and screenings.
Well, that's October next year.
But whatever, but you're going to.
Well, I've had people approach me.
Yeah. So part of the thing is that, and this is a totally other project. Completely different kind of project for a totally different kind of student I might have who could work with you, is to say, okay, well, how do we take Carol? Exactly, and make it so that she can go into this with this.
I know.
And
that's
give
one
her
of the
talk
reasons.
and convey your message to really, and one of the things that this platform does is allows you to use that data that we're talking about building in and build slides.
Oh, I know.
And so that slideshow is all prepped, but we want you to have access.
I mean, initially I thought when I was approached by Gianni Lenocci, who's in this conservatory in Monopoli, Italy, and he plays beautifully, and the conservatory is like from the 12th century, and it's incredible, and you can look at pictures online. Well, I said, well, can you stream? Can you stream this? And he wasn't sure, he didn't know. And I think, there's nothing worse than somebody showing something and having it stutter. I mean, I even screened things from tape instead of disc 10 years ago because the disc didn't always play fluently.
So, is this an album? H3 is an album.
Yeah.
And
Gina Norman presents.
And and it looks like it ends at the
down
date.
to here.
Down
right?
to looks
like
table.
Because this is a separate album, right? So yeah, starts here, H3, ends with table.
There we go.
Yeah.
Come on, make up. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's like random. That's just manual cut and paste.
Okay, but it's.
I mean, it's not perfect, but but this is like. So you write code to interpret.
I'm just trying to figure out what it's giving the instrumentation. It's giving the title. It doesn't give timings.
Well, that's what they have. Yeah, that's what that's what they have.
Right.
So presumably, we might have a Tiddler out there that this would hit on.
Yeah, so you've got the code for it because it was off of the web as
Yeah, so
opposed
if
to
we, and so
something
this
that you
is
had-
doing it by hand.
Right.
If we wanted to make this a link, I just bracket it,
I got it. Okay.
then I click it,
What happened?
and okay.
I've never even heard this Persian Village.
Persian
I haven't had
Village.
time to listen to all his records or anything. You know.
So,
And then there's the liner notes of the records. Oh my God.
this is the album title, right?
Right.
So we'll make that the Tiddler title, and it's an album.
Now you should go and see if it's on YouTube probably, the whole album.
Exactly. And here's the cut. And this is a cut. And it also belongs to the album
Right.
and of course you don't do this by hand.
Right.
You machine code this
Okay.
from your Excel spreadsheets. Okay. And so now we've got Persian Village, and it's got and this is a cut. So, and this is far beyond what I should ever show somebody on the first day they've ever seen the TiddlyWiki, but I want you to kind of begin to see a little bit of what we're thinking about.
Just put a minus sign before the dollar sign.
I must have a wiki open somewhere. Thousands of them. Base code, because I don't remember how to write any code. And so it's all cut and paste coding kind of thing.
Which is what the Lego guys are doing.
Exactly.
Oh,
But they're not visual.
right.
So I just need this line of code because I can't remember how to write it. That is like got too many things.
Oh, no.
And that. But instead of up here, we want cut. And what we want to do is we want to list the album. Okay, which is, I'll put the word album in there.
Oh, so you're writing the template. I got it.
Yeah, right. It's a template for the cuts.
Right.
And then what I just do, because I teach.
Is it going to sequence the cuts?
It comes in an order.
Generate a.
It comes in a default order.
Okay.
Every cut is then going to have that. And of course, you can change things about the cuts.
Right.
But we call it a cut. And of course, it doesn't have it because I called it the field album, and I think I have a capital album in the cut template. But that's like, I do.
The case.
The case, yeah. Oh, case sensitive. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what I mean. It's like brackets and, it's like fine, but it's like teaching that.
Yeah.
And it's still, it is capital cut. What am I talking about? It is capital cut.
Why don't you be consistent?
Yeah, exactly, right? It's capital cut, lowercase album, is current tag cut.
You should make either everything capital or everything lowercase.
So yeah, I usually go
lowercase.
lowercase.
Right.
Why isn't it getting this filter equals is current tag cut? What's not getting that? This filter equal is current tag appear in my template. Yeah. Is current tag. Come on, I told you I should never show. Is current tag cut.
Are you recording all this?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Isn't it terrible?
No, it's fun.
And show me the stupid album.
Now I want to hear this.
I know, right?
Yeah, all this time you definitely have to hear it. You need to reward.
Well, I'm going to fake it because you'll never know the difference.
You'll know.
There. So I can write, and this is cool. So, like, what else do we know about this cut?
Well, you should know see, I'd have to go here to
get
the
instrumentation. But I can write about it here. It appeared on the
Solemn Meditation on the album. Right.
So this is writing in code, and this is what it looks like.
Right.
So that's like, but
right.
And should be able to pull it automatically, but because it's a template, but I can't because I'm an idiot. It's just, I know why. Finally, I have to tell this tiddler that it's a template.
Oh. The word template isn't enough. There's no AI in the software.
I think that's the tag. That's not the right template. That's not the right tag. / tags view template. So unforgiving.
Teachers are performers, you know.
I know that. Yes. And increasingly we perform online.
So do you have online students
Oh, yeah.
as well?
Yeah, most of my students are online.
Wow. Oh my God.
All the graduate students.
They don't know you.
All the graduate students.
I think that's so sad. You know, if industry could get robots to buy things, they wouldn't need any of us.
So I can take all the content out of Persian Village again now, the cut.
Right.
And so there's nothing in it.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's a template, the name of the album is printed there.
Okay.
And it tells me it's coming from the cut template. That's my debug. So
These are the tracks for you under a cut template.
You could.
Instead of a track, it should be called track, not cut.
So
But
okay.
Cut
so
the
it's a
language of the
track.
program as opposed to
No.
the language of
So
the
interestingly,
recording
we
industry?
can track.
It's a track within an album. That's
Okay.
the traditional
So it's
language.
exactly right. I don't know why I called it a cut.
It's okay.
And the
Well, cut is used to.
And so we have to go back, of course, to the code, and
That's
change
really
it to track.
easy.
No. And we want to call this the track template. And so I'll change it.
For all I know, everybody uses the word cut now.
I have no idea. So now it's tracking on track, and there's only one track. So all the
Right,
tracks
right,
get
right.
listed there. And then you can get much more fancy.
So then you'd have subcode
Yeah.
of the track to put in the instrumentation.
lots of metadata.
And then you'd need the
Tags and fields.
Within the track, you also
And you can
need
put
the
the rights
field
information.
for the publishers and the composers.
Yes.
And now, let me just tell you.
But it's a
what's
huge database. But what's interesting is that it's configurable. It's kind of local, so it kind of serves some of those purposes.
Somebody's going to go blind to do it.
But you've got so much of the data already, so we just have to import it and interpret it like we did,
Right.
not like the manual cut and paste.
Right.
So next steps. What music do you like? Do you have? Is there any open source Paul Bley stuff that's out there free on the web?
Well, just look.
Let's look, right?
I mean, YouTube
exactly.
has whole albums. You know, I've tried to get stuff taken down. You're not going to want to hear that.
Oh, okay. So let's do a YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should know that because I listened to it. I just downloaded a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, that's not an album. That's a television show out of Paris.
Yeah. So somebody could select, or you could select. You go back to.
I mean, if you want to go for solemn meditation, see if it's there. It's the album you just were looking at.
Oh,
So
thank
put
you.
Probably in solemn SOLEM. Just the word solemn, probably. There you go.
Because I had it in my buffer.
Right.
You should learn. You should get one of these things. You'd love it as a writer.
Oh.
So here's the last.
There you go. Now, what is it? It's a cut. It's one track. A cut.
Oh, my Firefox is rusticated. It doesn't play videos.
It doesn't? You
why.
can. You don't have the Java for it?
I don't know. I don't.
So it doesn't say what.
No, Oh, here's Persian Village.
Oh my God. See? I've never heard it.
Oh, you really?
No.
Well, we'll just play it. Since you can't get yours to work, I can get mine to work.
Right. Except your speaker there instead of mine.
Oh no, they're terrible.
That's another thing. Because you're not hearing the music when you listen to one of it. Let's get better. See?
Oh, the sound.
Oh my God.
No, that's not it. You don't really do this some people. It's sort of you do. I mean, that's the way it's teaching. I need to use some one-on-one, some class.
I think this is great.
I've got many tabs, but I want to leave you with this one thought. And here we go.
It may not be as big a project as I think. I just feel
Go
I'm just
online
trying
and
to
talk.
preserve that.
Daddy, go online and talk to me.
Oh,
Happens all the time.
oh, he wants to chat or he wants to really talk?
So here's my YouTube macros. I don't remember how the YouTube macros work. YouTube link. YouTube link. Oh, okay. That video. Okay. Video.
So, I mean, initially you could do what's already available out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The instant gratification.
Instant. Yeah, I can't. I've lost where we are because I've got too many tabs, and I'm gonna find it again though.
I know, and Addie added your brains there.
She did. I'm looking for
Carol Springer.
I've got Carol Springer, but I don't have the one with that means I opened it in another window. Yeah, no, I run way too many windows. There it is. That's interesting, right? You don't really like that, but I mean, it's there. What are you going to do, right? Oh, really? Yeah, yeah.
You know what the Realty doing like 5%.
So every
While
time,
supporting the family with music, nobody can do that anymore.
so every time somebody,
If you were used to buy a house,
right,
the musician would get like, let's say $1 from the album. They'd also get a mechanical royalty for every album sold, for every track that they owned the music publishing fee. So that was another like 7 cents. So they, for every album sold, they make a couple bucks.
mm-hmm.
Also, when it was broadcast on radio, they made real money. For example, I could show you royalty statements from Europe right now. I mean, like $100 to $200, $300 from one radio broadcast in Europe. You know, from Spotify, from all of these streaming services, 20 cents, 8 cents, for hundreds and hundreds of plays.
Wow.
So there's nothing. So there's no income. Young musicians starting out is free. It's very sad. But, you know, people love free music. You didn't have to buy this record to listen to it. So what do musicians do? And then they go and play a concert and somebody goes and takes it and puts that on. Right? So Paul's career is not so I think there's the fact that he was able to live freely and to just focus on creativity and not have to have a day job or something, which would have meant he wouldn't have been able to produce every day. I mean, I could work and hustle when nobody else
Right.
We worked like crazy, but we worked on what we wanted to work on. And they both think you can be entrepreneurial and self-employed. And they both are. Because they saw it.
Yes.
But 99.9% of people out there don't see it. And don't believe it, and so they don't try to be creative. I just think it's as wonderful as it is, it's also destroyed. And all of these, you know, it's like Google now has got so many new. I just had an hour and a half conversation with the chief lawyer of CRA, which is a wealthy and he's 28 years old. And so he's grown up with this free access to everything. I said, but in the aggregate, for society to collect a fraction of a penny of all this, it adds up to paying your salary. But the musician who's getting 1,000 of what they used to get, it's not paying their light bill. And if the societies all got together and really represented the artists and composers, there would be a way of dealing. Because what's happening is the venture capital is going in to Amazon, it's going into all these companies that are using music as a loss leader to bring eyeballs to their site to sell them other things on the backs of the musicians. And the algorithms exist, and you know it. The apps exist because YouTube, Google knows it's all copyrighted music. Because you can have an app on your phone that will tell you within 4 seconds what the song is and where it's from. And so they put you through these hooks.
All of that stuff.
Why should I put anything out? Listen to me. Why should I put anything out? Why should I spend the time and energy to edit, to preserve, to do all that? I'm spending a lot of time doing this. I'm spending money doing it. For it to be free?
Yes.
No, for Google to make money. Google's selling advertising. Amazon's raising venture capital on all this. They're making money. They're raising billions.
If you want to gather all the right and close it, you could turn proceeds back to musicians, for example. You could do all sorts of things.
That's what you should get a register.
We could do that too. But the policy stuff, I'm just not focusing on. Energies on
I understand, but you should.
I should, but I don't.
There should be somebody.
We don't have a policy. There are tons of people doing it. We don't have a policy program. We have information. So they're just not interested.
But they should be aware of it.
Oh, I agree. I teach a class.
I'd like to go to music technology and read Maria Schneider's post.
Okay.
What people do.
But I actually have to go because I have a 12:30.
Put a damper on it.
You did. You shut it down. I'm going to show you what we built. Okay, we built this thing, which has this, a couple of tiddlers. I'm going to send you a link to it. There's an album. It's got a track. I've got to find where it's playing now. It's playing in a different. Oh yeah, there. It's got a track.
Will it play off of...
It's got a track.
and I can play the track.
Right. Okay. So it downloaded the track.
Didn't.
It's playing nothing yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could build a front end, and what we did with the Library of Congress was we built a front end to their collection.
Right.
And we
right.
made their collection accessible to the world. Why would I want to do that? Because then people will listen.
So don't knock your phone. So my cousin married a guy who was an archivist with the National Archives in D.C. And I remember she used to raise money for Indian tribes in Wisconsin, grants. She used to write the grants. And she was very retired from that. So I don't know if he was, but while he was an archivist there was a huge lawsuit with the Indian tribes against the U.S. government for reclamation of something. And all their records were burned, somehow accidentally burned in the basement of the archive.
So
intrigue. That's
intrigue, yes.
That's not conspiracy theory. That's a fact.
So yeah. So if we want to do something, which would be fun to do, and we could do it.
Go ahead.
Give me something to. This is the
discography.
This is the which discography. This is the updated version of this.
And this is
as a file that you don't in some. Okay, so
it's a PDF.
It's a PDF.
So here are records that have been released commercially since that was put together.
Oh, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna.
Well, I'd rather you work backwards than forwards. More recent, because all the solo piano records are like in the last 15 years, and I think that's the most important stuff. But no, work chronology. It doesn't matter. Do you want this?
It's
this is not on.
I just want to do a sort of a demo, a small piece, something small, and this is
I wish you had an archival program. Do you know Syracuse University used to have?
But I don't. But we can sort of just do conceptual work.
So you're going
to get
forward,
it
and
started.
I'm dealing with the past.
I know. No. The past is and the documentary idea is interesting. You need a filmmaker, right? Do you have a filmmaker?
Oh, well, Vanessa and I did the
You can make your own film.
thing.
Yeah. You can make your own
Are you kidding? I wouldn't want someone else to. I mean, listen, you know what? I started talking to people after Paul died, like interviewing them, and it was so awful. It's like the way you relate to someone after they're gone is very different than when they're there.
Yes.
And what they said, and I thought, there's so much material that it can be, and I really conceptually love this idea.
Okay. So we'll talk again when I build something and play something. And I will also send you some links that you can follow and play yourself.
Here's an
How's
idea.
That? So we'll both play for
I know, but here's an idea that I really like. And you'll see it on here. There's an index of tunes. I love the idea of listening to different versions of the same tune.
Oh, very cool.
It's like being able, that would be one
that
kind
would be
of
one. I love
structure.
That. Let's build that.
And here's the other thing.
What's your favorite that you have multiple versions of?
Oh, this is like blues waltz or longer, or I can send it to you.
Okay.
Do I have an email for you? I know you don't.
Steve@cherryvalley.com.
Oh, okay.
But I'll send you an email with a link, and then I'll get you.
Right.
So we'll do that. That's really good.
Do you like
I love
that?
that. I love that.
Right.
Yes, we'll do that. I'll build one. You build the next. Okay. And then I'll keep looking for a student.
Right. Yeah, a music buff person.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be mine. So if somebody ever contacts you, they might, depending on the kind of person, you might say, oh, well, I can put you in touch with someone who's sort of working on, like if we had a PhD student who was doing some jazz, wanted to do a PhD, they could build a whole PhD out of this.
All right, so so
we could seek a PhD
I have a
student.
couple thousand email addresses of people that have signed up for Paul's newsletter that he never sent. When Vanessa put it into, what is one of those services, it threw out like 80% of the addresses saying they weren't valid or something. So, this is the kind of thing that could be sent out.
You could advertise for someone,
yes.
And my Design Rights Studio is designed to be an open source project. So what happens is I have students who register for courses at all different levels, and they get credit at SUNY College. I have other students who are my open students who join the studio and learn how to use TiddlyWiki to express themselves hypertextually, and they do their own projects. And the third step that I want to do is I want to put together people who have a concept or a need or a desire, like you, who says, okay, I've got this thing,
Right.
this text, which is the Paul Bley text, and I want to interpret it using TiddlyWiki as the tool to like mine it, just gently at first and then over time. And then that's a student who might work on the project, the mountain, for like get a little piece, and then another student comes in this way, and then over time you have a whole thing. And so you've got like the text of Paul Bley, and people are chipping away at it by writing interpretations of it. And so they can do that they don't have to get credit. So if you came across like a PhD student who wanted to do jazz history and said, oh cool, I'll use the studio to sort of organize my materials, I'll write my PhD over here, but what I'm building, and it's called digital humanities. And there's grants for digital humanities, and this would fit perfectly into that.
So maybe that's what Vanessa should. She's not going to do that because she doesn't have the head for that.
No, but digital humanities, jazz, I'll start looking around for that as well.
Okay. Where's my, I can't find my,
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay. And I'm going to send you a link to this conversation. You can watch it on video.
Okay.
You'll never watch it because it's boring.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. I got to run. Stop share. End meeting.